And good morning to all you yogis out there, and welcome. And or good afternoon or good evening. I don't know exactly what time it could be that you're watching this. It could be many different times of the day, and you could be in many different places. So whatever time or whatever place you're in, hopefully it's the pleasant place right now for you, and a pleasant time. And hopefully at the end of our class this morning, it'll be even a little more pleasant. I'll introduce myself in case you don't know. My name is Mike Richter. Some of you may know my son, David. He may be joining us in our class today. Right now, he's downstairs sleeping, so maybe not. We'll see. But we're awake, and hopefully we're feeling ready, let's say. Let's begin slow. All right, let's begin with what I usually do in my classes as a pre-warm-up. But we'll begin this with a warm-up. So I'm going to come into a simple seated position. I'll move back just a little bit. I'm going to find cross-legged position. And if it's a little uncomfortable, you can prop yourself up if you have a little, I have a little towel. If you have a little towel or something around you, if you prop yourself up just a bit, that can make it, the hips open up just a bit if you get the tight, especially in the morning. So do what you need to do. Maybe adjust them a bit, get things to settle. And then we'll take a moment or two and we'll cross the arms and the heart and place a hand on each shoulder. And we'll just relax if you want to. Let your head hang. And you can sway a little bit. And then when you're ready, we'll come up. Come back a little forward. We'll come up and we'll start to breathe a little bit. So as you look up, you just inhale. And then when you're ready, you exhale. And just let your hands come down and rest on your legs. We'll just continue that. Breathe in. Breathe out. And we just want the inhalations to start to lengthen us a little. And let the inhalations fill us up. And I'm breathing in through my nose and out through the nose. If it's clear. We'll try to do that throughout the class, breathing in and out through the nose. Sometimes I may breathe out through my mouth just to exaggerate the sound. And let the shoulders get a little bit involved. So I'm just going to do a little rolling of my shoulders. All right, let's come back to the center. Now let's work a little bit more through the spine. So I'm going to bring my hand somewhere on my front of my leg, there, my shin or ankle. I'm going to lean back and draw in just a bit at the chest, and then I'm going to come forward and reach out just a bit. And I'm going to continue that like back and forth motion. I'm going to inhale as I come forward, and I'm going to exhale as I come back. And maybe if you want, you can close your eyes here. And just find your own pace for a few breaths. You might feel that coming a little bit down into your hips there. You may feel it a little bit in your knees. All right, now from here, we're going to come into a Sufi's grind is the name of this motion. So I've got my hands on my knees, and as I breathe in, I slide forward, and as I breathe out, I draw back. And I'm working a little bit there through the thoracic area. The thoracic area, if you don't know, that's the area of the spine around the chest, the heart area. So I'm kind of reaching a little to the side, then I drop forward a bit, other side and around. And you can feel that coming to your hips as well. Trying to keep your sit bones back there grounded to the floor, to your mat. All right, let's flip it around and go the other way. And then we'll come back to the center. And a little for the shoulders and the sides of the body. So I'm going to reach up as best you can to open up the shoulders. And then for the side of the body, I'm just going to lean a bit gently. Ooh, I got a little crack. And then I'm going to release that side, come to the other side, reach up. Try to keep your sit bones down as you lean a bit, come down. I'm trying to get no. So keeping the sit bones grounded, I'm not lifting the hip. I'm drawing it down just a bit. And it's a gentle opening, stretching the side of the body to the ribs. And then maybe one shoulder. I have a tight shoulder, so I feel that a bit. All right, let's come back and let's finish this little pre-warm-up, if you will. This gentle warm-up with the neck here. So letting the chin drop so the neck gets a little longer. Shoulders relax. So just let them get a heavy. And then you just start to roll a little bit. If your neck's a little tight, you can start with you can stay low. You don't have to go all the way up. Just go back and forth. Kind of leading with my chin to lengthen a bit. And if your neck is feeling good, then you go all the way around. Just do a few revolutions in one direction. And then when you're ready, you switch to the other side. Switch your direction. All right, then let's come back to the middle. And take a moment or two. Breathe. And then we'll begin on our backs. So we'll start laying down. Our class this morning, starting with some mobility. So just getting the joints, getting the muscles warmed up and moving around a bit. And then working our way into some flow, working into some poses, standing poses. Always feeling free to modify things as we go. I'm going to come back a bit to begin. And I'm going to begin us just laying on our backs. And I think this will be a good orientation for me. Hopefully. Let me adjust a little bit. So you yogis, take a moment as you first lay down and get yourselves into a comfortable starting position. So your feet and your legs, you let them fall open just a bit. You can just do a little movement around your hips, just kind of shimmy them a bit. Just try to let them open up a bit if you can. The arms can be right to the side of the body. The palms can face up. And then just do a little movement with the shoulder blades, just to try to open up a bit more through the heart. Head, let it go a little left and a little right, so the neck can get a moment there just to track smoothly. And then you settle in and you focus, all right? Very relaxed state, but very focused. Focus on your breathing now. Breathing into the nose, if it's clear. And you're breathing out through the nose. And you're just slowly letting that breath deepen a bit here. And guiding into a nice rhythm. And then let's begin to move the body, all right, as well as breathing nicely. So I'm going to start with just rolling through my ankles and through my wrists. I'm going to let my arms float up a bit. Maybe get a little pops and snaps. And as I roll through the wrists, I'm going to slowly let the arms float up towards the ceiling. And I'm going to let them fall back behind me. So we're going to get real nice and long. Your morning stretch, if it's the morning time for you, whatever it is, it's a nice time for a little stretch. So let the arms come back down behind you, nice and long. And then when you inhale, you stretch out a bit. And when you exhale, relax again, all right? Let the shoulder blades drop a bit. And then do a little movement with the hips. Draw one hip up the side of the body as the other hip lower. So you do a little sachet to the hips. A little back and forth. And then we'll come back to the center. We'll find that stretch again on your next inhale. Breathe in, reach back, stretch out a bit. And then as you exhale this time, draw your belly in, and we're going to bring the right leg up to the body. So I'm going to hug in that knee, and then I'm just going to work a little bit through the right hip. So I'm just going to start to roll through the right hip a bit, circle around. It's like you're just trying a little circle with your knee around your room. into a gentle twist. I'm going to bring my left hand to that right knee, and I'm going to draw across my body. And as I do that, I start to turn with it. I want to do what I can to lengthen the spine and then drop the right shoulder blade back to the ground. If it lifts, and maybe even look over your right side. If you can do that. All right, releasing the twist. And now let that right leg sweep all the way across the body. And with your right hand, let it fall open. There hangs a little bit on the right side. That's just for inside the right hip. And as it's hanging there, twirl your right foot around. You'll feel that come right up into your knee. All right, let's come back to the center and hug in that leg. Hug it in, compressing the knee, and then release. And we'll come to the other side. We're going to inhale, reach back. Stretch it out, and as you exhale, draw it in. Draw the belly in, bring the left leg up. And then work around to the left hip. Start to circle that out. And when you're ready for your twist here, right hand's on the knee. You draw across your body. You do what you can. If you need to make a little adjustment before you drop your left shoulder blade, it may not make it to the ground. It's okay. Maybe you look over your left side. And then you release that twist, and the left leg sweeps now all the way across. And for me, it doesn't make it to the ground, right? It just hangs a bit in the air. And then I'm going to twirl my left foot around. Maybe get some cracks. And then I'm going to come back to the center. I'm going to hug in that leg. And then I'm going to hug both legs in. So I'm going to come into a little ball, and I'll start gentle, right? It's early where I am, and I'm going to go a little bit side to side. A little rolling. And I'm going to come back to the middle. And I'm going to turtle up. So I'm going to turtle up by lifting up the head and the shoulders just a bit. But I'm going to bring my hands back behind my head to support the neck. And then I'm going to just do one leg at a time. Kick it up. If you can, straight up to the ceiling, then switch sides. Some of us, the hamstrings, the hip flexors are a little bit tight. You may have to kick a little forward. So just kind of listen to those spots. Hopefully, if it feels good, you can kick up. Oh, you can extend that hamstring all the way out and just start to warm it up a bit. And then what I'm going to do here, yogis, I'm going to do a little for the hips. I've got my knees together. You can bring your head back down on the mat if you'd like, or keep it up. And I'm just going to do a little bit of those infinity symbols. Can you trace an infinity symbol with your knees? So I'm bringing one knee starts to lower, the other knee starts to raise, and then you kind of circle them out and around. So infinity or figure eight, you could think of that. And then I'm going to reverse my direction and go the other way. And just starting to let those circles maybe get a little wider. And feeling that come into the hips. Keeping the belly engaged here. So keeping the back right in the ground. And then I'm going to come back to the center. I'm going to hug it in. Let your head and shoulders come down if they're lifting. Relax and do a little roll side to side. Now, good to wake up the core, all right? Whatever time of the day, before you start to do some movements, start to warm up the core. It's good to warm up the body from the center out. So I'm going to do a few of my Pilates toe taps to warm this core up. I'm going to lift up my head and shoulders just a bit. Head's behind the head. Our hands are behind the head. I'm bringing my legs to a 90-degree angle, the knees. And then plug the belly in, pull it in tight. You feel your back flush to the mat. Then you tap. Tap one foot at a time. And I can see in the camera, I'm trying to really monitor my angles in my knees to keep them at a 90-degree angle. So, sometimes you'll tend to bend the knee and then you end up tapping really close to your glutes. So I want to be actually tapping a little bit farther down the mat. But it's just a warm-up, so it's okay if you bend the knees a bit. I'm just using this to really keep my mind focused on my core, keep the belly tight, keep the back grounded, and keep your breath nice and smooth if you can. I don't want to start to scrunch up my face, tense up. I want to keep my face relaxed, my breath smooth. And I'm just going to tap it out for 4 more taps. I'm going to count my pace. I'm on 1, I'm on 2, I'm on 3. I'm on 4. Okay, I'm on the floor. And I'm going to roll a little bit. Once away. And now I'm going to come down to the mat. Both feet come down to my bridge position. So I'm going to take a moment, bring my feet about hips distance apart. Maybe walk your feet back towards you just a bit. And you're reaching out, maybe touching your heels, your ankles somewhere close. And you're pressing your palms in the mat, or you're grabbing the edge of your mat. You could also do that too, so it won't slide at all. And we'll find a few of our bridges, slowly raising the bridge up. I like to do the London bridges, so I come up with the bridge, and then I slowly lower. So I'm going to do a few of those if you like, the up downs. And what I'm trying to find here is a wave, I guess you would call it a wave-like pattern to the spine. So as I lift the bridge, I'm bringing one vertebrae up at a time. That's a quote-unquote, one section of your spine maybe is a better way of looking at it. Okay, you control one vertebrae. One section of your spine at a time, and then as you lower it, you try to bring one section of the spine down at a time. At the bottom, you can do a little pelvic tilt, if you like. So we're just getting that spine a little bit loosened up and getting the glutes a little bit engaged. You can squeeze the glutes a bit as you come up. And then how about we come to one bridge that will hold for a few breaths. So when you come back up next time, take a moment here and let's hang out in this bridge. Now the weight is right in the shoulder girdle, and I'm looking straight up. It's nothing in my neck. Neck feels fine. Now if you can walk the fingers together, interlace your fingers, clasp them, and then try to turn the shoulders down one at a time. Maybe you can't quite get that, it's okay. You can keep your arms wide. And then if you do have that clasp, you can press your arms a little bit into the mat. Reach the heart up a little bit more. And whenever you're ready, you release your bridge. Slowly release the clasp. If you had your hands clasped, come back down. And then counter that back bend. Hugging the legs. This time, draw in your belly. Try to bring your forehead up a bit towards your knees. So you're doing the opposite of that back bend, curving to the back. And then I'm going to release that slowly back down to the ground. And then I'm going to come on my side, all right? Let's do a little warm up for the hips and the glutes. So I'm going to come on the side. I'm facing you with the camera, so I'm on my left side. Whichever side works best for you to begin with. So get comfortable here. You could lay on your bicep, or some people prop up. I'm going to work into this top leg, all right? This is my right leg. And I'm going to work into that glute and outside hip. So I'm just going to lift the leg up to begin. I'm flexing my foot just a bit there to keep the glute fired. I want to focus my mind. You could put your hand on it if you want, and you can feel whether you're firing it or not. I'm not going to go too high because I don't want to crunch into the right side of my body. I'm just working through that glute there. And I'm just going to do that about 3 more times. 2. Now on 1, we're going to add that little pike forward. I try to bring that leg forward. Hopefully you got some room around you. Make adjustments, and then I'm going to sweep it around. So I'm just going to work a little bit more through that hip with that movement. I'm using my right hand for a little bit of leverage, so pressing into the mat just a bit. That can help. But I really want to focus my attention on that glute. Keep it engaged. All right, let's come back down. Shake it a moment. Let's switch sides. I'm going to just spin around. You yogis could just rotate over. I'll stay facing you. So I've got my left leg now on top, whatever your leg was. And I'm going to bring my hand back there, maybe, if you want. And you feel that working, that left glute. Keep it engaged. You can flex your foot a bit. You can feel the glute. You feel the hip there working. Lifting it up. Don't have to go too high, right? When you work into the joints, you don't have to go to extremes. Let's do just 2 more on this side. All right, now we'll pipe it out. Just doing the movement, but being focused with your mind on it is going to help that joint warm up. And also over time, over long periods of time, you strengthen the joints and everything around them. And about one more on this side. Okay, let's come back down. Now let's come onto our belly for a little bit for the shoulder. So I'm gonna come and face you, yogis, for this one. Hopefully you can see me here. I'm gonna get a little bit comfortable, so make adjustments. There's a few adjustments if you need to. I'm gonna change the angle just a tad. Okay, and what we're gonna do is have the arms out to the side, sweeping back. I've got my palms facing down and my thumbs, I'm trying to turn to face the thumbs up just a bit. That's gonna start to open up through the shoulder a bit there. Stretch it out, just a gentle stretch. And then I'm just gonna inhale, lift up just a tiny bit. Bring the arms up. I'm gonna exhale, relax down. I'm keeping my legs right on the ground. Breathing in, breathing out. And you know, you don't have to go too high. What I wanna do is get this back, this upper back warmed up, but also the shoulders. So I'm doing a retraction of my shoulder blades. So as I lift up, I draw the shoulder blades a little bit together. And that kind of brings the arms up a little higher and sweeps them back just a bit. How about just 3 more times? Breathe in. Try to inhale on the way up. Exhale on your way down. How about one more time? I'm going to hold it if you want to this time. I'm going to hold up a little bit there and maybe lift the legs. You can see my foot just peeking out there. So if you want to try that, you can lift the legs, but keep your glutes engaged, keep your back engaged. Can we do this for 3 breaths? 2 more breaths. And 1 more breath. And then let's come down and release and relax those shoulders a moment. I'm going to do a little stretch for my neck. I'm going to let my left ear settle into the mat. Arms come back along the side of the body. Palms face up now. And bringing your big toes together back there, and then draw your heels apart. Try to encourage your low back just to open up a bit. Just give your neck a moment or two to settle. And now let's turn the head. Let the right ear settle in there. I'm going to come back to the middle. And while we're here, how about a gentle scorpion movement? A nice stretch for the shoulder and for the backs too. Some of you know this pose. You can do it at your own pace. Do a few. If you're new to this pose, let me go slow this first time. I've got my right arm extended out from my body. I've got it at about a 90-degree angle to the body, so it's perpendicular for my body. My left hand I'm using as like a little bit of leverage push-up. So you're going to bend your left knee so your foot comes up to the sky. You start to lift your left leg up, and as you lift it, you kind of walk it back over your body. In your right ear, try to let your right ear settle on the mat. For me, my left foot dangles in the air. Some of you, it goes all the way to the ground. And then I'm going to release. I'm going to switch sides. So left arm's out. I've got the face of the shoulder there down in the mat. Right knee bends. You lift it up slowly. Try to get your left ear to settle on the mat. And I'm putting a little bit of pressure in that left shoulder if I want to stretch a little bit deeper into it. All right, I'm going to release. I'm going to do that again on the right side. Take your time. Lift up that leg. You can move your back leg around a little bit to change up the pressure. And let's release it. And then let's finish with the left side. And then we'll come back into the middle there to the beginning. And from here, yogis, take a moment. Give your back, shoulders a moment there. We're going to come up to all fours onto our tabletop. I'm going to use my knees to press up. So I'm going to bring my hands into a push-up position. I'm on my knees. I'm going to go sideways so you can see that. And you slowly press up when you're ready. So in case, I'm just using my knees to press up. You come up one way or another. You come up. And once you come up, we'll come into our tabletop. So for our tabletop, we bring our knees up. Why don't we start with our child's pose? So for the child's pose, some of us are going to bring our knees out wider. I'm going to go wide with my knees right at the edges of my mat, but my feet are together in the back. And then I'm going to start to drop back into that child's pose. But for me, I'm going to do a few forward and back, slide a little bit if you want. Very nice for the kneecaps for some of us. Even if your knees are very healthy, they'll appreciate it. A little lubrication. So you slide it back and forth. And you're trying to give your wrists a little bit of a warm up too. And then you settle back down and you see if you can get pretty low. You may be able to sit on your heels and get your forehead to rest down on the mat. Once again, you may have to have those knees out wide. And just take a few breaths. Forehead is resting the mat if you can find it, and you're breathing like in that little space. And when you breathe in, breathe right into your belly. Feel your belly, feel your ribs even expand. And when you're in this position, you can feel your back. You can breathe right into your back. And then let's start to move from here slowly. I'm going to bring my arms out nice and long, almost a little stretch. And I'm just going to come up and I'm going to do a little sliding around the mat. So I'm just kind of circling wide circles around. And as I'm doing that, I'm working a little bit into the hips. So I'm dipping a little bit. So you kind of dip back and over. And you can start to work in the shoulder space too when you do that. And then let's switch it, go the other way. And now let's come back and let's come up into, some of us maybe can go right into the heroes if the knees are ready. Some of us knees don't like that. Come up a bit and just take a moment and roll that to the wrists before we start to put some more pressure on the wrists. So this is an open chain warm up. The hands are free to move. Everything is free and I'm just moving the wrists, a very gentle warm up. And then I'm going to start to spin them the other way. Do a little bit with the fingers. Shake them out a bit. And now let's put a little bit of pressure on them. If your wrists need more warm-up time, then when you come down with pressures, you could adjust some of the angles and move a little bit more for the wrist. The wrists are feeling pretty good. Let's come into our tabletop position. Fingers a little bit spread out here. Knees are right under the hips. Wrists are right under the shoulders. And I'm pressing my fingertips in the mat just a bit. And let's warm up the spine a little more. Let's start with the low back. I'm going to start with just moving, circling around to the low back. So you can see the side view. I'm really working deep in with the hips to get in that low back. And I'm circling it around. And since you're at home, you can do this because nobody's watching you, right? So then you can start to spiral it. So you're taking that circle and you're trying to climb it up your spine. So basically we're doing like a cat-cow, but we're adding this lateral movement, you call it that, like a corkscrew pattern. And then try to flip it, try to reverse your pattern. So it's a nice way just to get everything moving a bit through the spine. And doing movements that you're not always used to doing that take you a little bit out of your comfort zone. And then maybe coming back for your comfort zone, maybe just a few cat-cows. If you know your cat-cows, you're breathing in as the belly drops a bit there. And as you exhale, you're arching. Breathing in, my arms aren't bending. And when you exhale, you can even press your hands in the mat. Draw your Ooh, shoulder blades up a bit. Breathe in. And we breathe out. And we come back to the center. Just take a moment or two and just wiggle around. See how things are feeling. Hopefully things are feeling pretty good. Things starting to loosen up. Let's tuck the toes under here. Press back to your heels. So I want to feel just a gentle stretch through the soles of my feet when I'm doing that. And now those fingers nice and spread out. Let's slowly lift the knees and see if we can't come right into a down dog. Coming from that tabletop position to your down dog, the distance right here between your feet and your hands should be pretty good for your body. You shouldn't have to make many adjustments. See if you can just walk your dog a little bit. If you do need to make an adjustment, you can step a little closer or step back a bit. You're trying to just feel relatively stable. I'm kind of bringing my hips back and up. And I'm just doing that little walking motion. So I'm bending one knee, going back and forth. Kind of drawing one heel down as I do that. It's your down dog. Your head just hangs there. Now I'm going to start by walking my hands back to my feet. That's a lot easier for me. So I start that way and then eventually start to bring the feet up to the hands. So I walk the hands back. And when you get back there, you get to hang a few moments. So my weight's already shifting a little forward as I'm walking. So when I get back there, keep that weight shifting a little bit forward. If you can, your belly's resting right on your thighs, ribs on your thighs. Hands and arms are hanging, head's hanging. You can clasp the opposite elbows and sway a bit. Giving that spine nice length here, right, as we drape over our thighs. And then now we slowly come up. And if you're like me, you can walk your hands up your legs. When you do that, it just gives your low back a little more support. You keep your belly a little bit engaged as you come up. And then once you come up, let's stretch it up a little bit. So we're going to breathe in. Oh, reach up. And as you exhale, how about a little stretch from the side of the body? Gently stretch over the side. We'll do that again for the other side. Breathe length in the middle. And as you exhale, let one arm drop down. Ooh, stretch. Do that one more time for each side. Breathe in. Breathe in, root down, reach up. Lengthen as you exhale, gentle stretch right to the ribs, right down to the hip. And then one more side, breathe in. And as you exhale, your other side. Tiny back bend there in the beginning if you like. So breathing in, reaching up, opening up a bit, maybe just to the heart, to the throat. And then when you exhale, let the hands come right down to your heart. Take a moment or two. We'll come up into our mountain pose. And I'm going to adjust the camera just a little bit so my head's not cut off so much as we go taller here. There we go. So we'll come right up to the top of your mat or close to the top of your mat. And we'll bring our feet together, touching the toes, touching the heels, maybe a little bit apart if that feels a little more stable to you. Arms can be right out to the side. And you can plug in a bit if you want. You can press down a bit with those feet, kind of just feel a little more grounded. The thighs can be lightly engaged if you want to create a little bit of a little more force in the base of yours. The arms can come right out to the side. The palms can turn to face the front. So you're just opening, you're encouraging your heart center there to open just a tad. When you open up the palms, I'm not going to overdo it. And I'm going to breathe. Breathe right into the nose and out. Feel the breath in your belly if you can feel that. Breathing in, belly expands out. And when you exhale, belly comes in. We'll find a couple of sun salutations that I told we'll warm up. I want to go slow here. Find your own pace. Of course, feel free if you like. I'm going to start as slow. For those of you who aren't as familiar with this pose, this movement, this pattern, I guess you'd call it. It begins with a slow breath in and the arms sweep up. And then as you exhale, you fold all the way down to the ground. Then when you inhale, you come up halfway and you extend the head out. It's half flat back. And then as you exhale, you put your hands on the ground and you step your feet back.
And take a moment when you get to come to your plank. Now, for some of us, we want to come right down to the knees and modify. You can do that. Some of us, your strength is feeling good. You're all the way up in that plank. The hands are right under the shoulders. The belly's a little bit braced. Glutes can be a little bit engaged. Now I'm going to come into chaturanga, or I'm going to modify this first time. So I'm going to lower all the way to the ground. Try not to use your knees if you can. Take your time, lowering down. Keep the elbows pretty tight in the body. All right, this is a modified chaturanga. Come into the belly. Now I'm going to release my feet, and I'm going to find a gentle cobra. So I'm just lifting up. I'm not really pressing my hands in the mat. Lifting the heart up a bit. Reaching out a bit with the heart, with the chest. And then I'm going to come back down. And to modify the press up, use your knees. So you press up first, come up in the knees, then tuck the toes under, and then down up. So that's our modified version, coming all the way to the ground. If you want to, if you want to modify, you can do a half modification. So don't use your knees on the way down, just use your knees on the way up. That can start to build strength. So now taking a few breaths in your down dog. Hamstrings maybe, ankles, calves, maybe a little tight. Maybe those heels are up in the air. Some of you, those heels start to come down. I'm getting close. I'm not going to overdo it. And I'm trying to lengthen a bit to the spine, pressing the hands into the mat, reaching the hips up and back. And just let the head hang loose, relaxed. And then we're going to look up to the hands. And we're going to see if we can step up this time. I'm going to step my left foot up, right between the hands, or help it a little. And then the right foot's going to follow. And then we're going to reverse. We're going to inhale, half flat back. And we exhale, forward fold. And you inhale all the way up. And when you exhale, just let your hands come to the heart. Take a moment. We'll do that again. We'll breathe in, reach up. And as you breathe out, you release right from the hips. You fold down. You can bend your knees. When you inhale, half flat back, come up halfway, extend out. Then as you exhale, you plant the hands. You step back to plank. And this time, all in one breath, you lower. This time, I'm going to pause in chaturanga. So I've got a 90-degree angle on my knee, in my elbows. Then when I breathe in, I sweep up. That's my up dog. So I'm pressing the mat. Everything's up the mat except the tops of my feet. And then I'm going to just curl over those feet to my down dog. And I step my feet in just a bit when I come to the dog. And then take a few breaths in your down dog. See if you can do a little work here with the shoulder blades and the eyes of the elbows. You're kind of opening the eyes of the elbows up a bit towards the ceiling. And so you using your shoulder blades and your shoulders to do that. You're pressing down with the index finger meets the base of the index finger, I guess you could say, where it meets the palm. You're pressing that a bit into the mat. And then let's look up to the hands. And now let's try to step the right foot up. And then the left foot follows. And we inhale halfway up. And we exhale, forward fold. And you inhale, rise all the way up and reach. And as you exhale, how about one more time, right? We'll flow right down into this last sun salutation A. We'll inhale halfway, extend out. And as you exhale, you plant those hands, you step back, and you lower all the way down, or you hover. When you breathe in, a little cobra or an up dog. And then as you exhale, make your way to your down dog. Step it in a bit if you need to. Find your breath. And then we'll look up to the hands. Now you're going to step up. If you want to hop up, some of you want to play with that. If you're going to hop, you bend your knees, you shift your way back, and when you hop, you try to get a little light when you land it, or you try to do that. And then you inhale halfway up, and you exhale, fold that down. And then you inhale, rise all the way to the top, reach. And as you exhale, let the hands come right to the heart. Take a moment, take a breath. Let's begin our little flow, yogis. Don't have much time. This time goes so fast. I love doing, especially in the mornings. For me, I like a lot of mobility, a lot of movement, get the joints going, the muscles. So I'm going to work you yogis through a little bit of an Ashtanga flow, just kind of borrowing from there, starting with the hamstring stretch here. So I'm gonna stay a little sideways. I've got peace fingers grabbing big toes, all right? And we'll see. You can bend your knees when you do that. So start with the feet a little bit apart and start with a little bit of length. So breathe in. And then as you exhale, that fold down. I'm gonna bend my knees. I'm gonna let my belly come right in my thighs and my two peace fingers grab my big toes. You can make it that far. If you can't quite make it there, you could grab, maybe the shins or the ankles. But I'm bending my knees quite a bit to do that. And I'm lengthening through that spine. And then I'm gonna start to straighten those legs. Ooh, we'll see. I'm keeping my quads a bit engaged here, keeping the belly right engaged, pulling in. And I'm gonna start to pull up on the toes as the head goes down. It's as intense as you like it, yogis. And then I'm just gonna find 2 deep breaths right in my belly. Breathe in through your belly. And breathe out. When you breathe in, feel your belly press against your thighs. Breathe in through your belly. And breathe out. And this third breath, I'm going to release and lift up. So I'm going to inhale, come back up. And I'm going to exhale, hands down to the heart. Second one, I'm going to slide hands under the feet. I'm going to face you. So I'm going to breathe in, extend up. And as I exhale, I start to fold down. I'm going to bend my knees a bit. I'm going to lift up my feet and slide the hands right under those feet. See if you can get your big toe and come right up towards your wrist crease. Maybe right up close, maybe a little bit lower down. Shift the weight a tiny bit forward. Now remember, you can bend the knees quite a bit here. And I'm pressing the toes a bit in the hands. Should feel good in the wrists. Then I start to pull up on the feet, release the head down a bit. See if you can lift those hips a bit there. And then breathe into the belly. Breathe out. Breathe into the belly. Feel it press into your thighs. Breathe out. And then as you breathe in, release and rise up. And as you exhale, hands come down to the heart. Take a moment here. I'm going to turn this way. Now from here, yogis, I'm going to come into a triangle. So I'm going to step my right foot back, not too far back, about halfway through the mat. I've got my back foot open about on a 45-degree angle or so. Maybe a little bit more open. And the legs are straight on this pose. The arms are out. Now I'm just going to kind of get a little sassy with the hips. That's a fun expression. And I slide, I'm kind of sliding that right hip back. Start to feel a little bit in your left hamstring and groin. I'm going to reach out and I'm just going to pivot. And I'm going to be gentle. So I'm kind of high up. Some yogis, they can go way low. I can get down there a little bit. Some can go lower, but they keep that heart open. So they don't start to twist and turn. Me, I want to be gentle, so I'm higher up on my knee there towards my thigh. I want to be able to feel that right side opening. If the neck can do it, if it looks okay, you reach, you look up. Some of us, the neck prefers to look down. Just a beautiful line to the body. Now the feet, the base is strong and grounding. I'm pressing down my feet, active legs. And then 2 breaths right into your belly. Beautiful breaths. Breathe in. Feel that belly expand. Exhale. Strong breath, strong legs. Breathe in. Breathe out. And then as you inhale, that third time you come up. And as you exhale, you just turn. All right? I'm just going to pivot us around. Take a moment, get things adjusted. We do the other side. We let that left hip or whatever hip you're doing, you let it slide back just a bit. You reach out and then you pivot. And some of you can go lower if that feels okay. And take a few moments to get into a spot that feels right. I don't want to be like straining. I want to feel strong, especially my legs feeling nice and grounding. See if when you breathe in, you can breathe right up through your legs. You imagine that. You breathe into your belly. You breathe out. It's almost like you're drawing your breath right up to the ground. You breathe into the belly. You breathe out. And as you breathe in, you come back up. And as you breathe out, I'm going to step back up to the top of my mat. I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to come in now into a triangle with bent knee or a side angle pose. So from the top of the mat, I'm going to lift my right leg up and step it way back. And maybe even go a little farther back. Now the back foot this time is all the way open. The hip is open. So the back foot's parallel to the mat, the front foot's perpendicular. I'm trying to square these hips right up to the side of the mat. I'm gonna go a little bit lower. Some of you get all the way down to a 90-degree angle in your front knee. I'm a little gentler. I'm not all the way there. Arms are out. Now I'm just gonna be a little bit calm. My leg is strong. My lead leg, my front leg is pressing in the mat. I feel like a kung fu warrior, right? Legs are, but my arm is light. I'm just resting it. Some of you do the full expression. You extend the arm down and up. I'm gentle. And I'm reaching up. I'm looking up. I'm thinking my chin toward my shoulder, if that feels okay for the neck. And I'm breathing into that belly. Breathing out. That strong front leg. You breathe into your belly. You breathe out. And then as you breathe in, you come up. And as you breathe out, you turn to the front. To the back, and take a moment. Make a little adjustment if you need to. Find that base. See if that leg, that back leg that's extending out, if you can even grab a little bit in the side of the side of the foot. So it's like you're pressing out to the ankle. So that foot is fully, the base of the foot is fully pressing in the mat. That right hip is opened up a bit, your knees tracking right down the middle of your foot. Strong leg, engaging the quad, pressing down with your foot. And then doing a little beautiful opening to the left side. If you want to, you can imagine there's a hand coming down from the ceiling, and you kind of grab that hand that pulls you up, gentle. This right arm could be all the way low, or it could be resting gently. Breathe in through your belly when you're ready. Breathe in, strong right leg. You breathe out. You breathe into the belly. You breathe out. And as you breathe in, you come back up. And as you breathe out, you step it all the way up. And there you take a moment. Now we'll introduce a little more movement into these poses, into these patterns. We'll find a little sun salutation. We'll work a little flow. So I'm going to breathe in, reach up. And as I breathe out, I fold down. I inhale, come up halfway. And as I exhale, I plant the hands, step it back to that plank, and I lower down. When I inhale, chaturanga to the up dog. And when I exhale, I roll it back. All right, take a moment here. Walk it a bit. I'm going to start you with that right side. I'm going to inhale my right leg up high. And then as I exhale, I'm going to step it all the way up through my hand. Make it, help it a little bit if you need to. Try to get right between the hands. Now I'm going to come into a little bit of a lunge. Hopefully now the legs are very nice and warmed up. I'm nice and low. My left heel's off the ground. Give my balance a moment to settle. This low lunge. Sweep the arms back. That right leg, right quad, nice and engaged. Pressing down with that foot. And let's come into a crescent warrior from here. So keep the hips relatively low and breathe in as you come up. I'm going to try not to lift up my hips too much. I'm going to try to keep those hips pretty low and keep that left leg straight. Now you can bend that left knee if that helps. Some of you can even bring your knee all the way to the ground if you'd like to modify it. And stay in that gentle mode, that gentler mode. And wherever you are, just breathe into the belly and breathe out. We breathe in, we breathe out. And then as you inhale, I'm going to open up. I should be on the other side. I'm going to flip it around so it's easier to see. So I'm going to open up back to that side angle, or this time warrior two. So for the warrior two pose, I'm just going to hold the arms out straight, open up a bit to the heart. I'm going to turn my head and just look right over one of my fingertips. So beautiful, long torso, open heart, shoulders a little relaxed. And as always, beautiful, strong base, strong legs, tree trunk legs, right? Pressing down into the mat. Breathe into the belly. Breathe out. Breathe into the belly. Breathe out. And then as you inhale, give that leg a moment. Come up. I'm going to come and finish back with that triangle. I'm going to bring my back foot in just a bit. All right. It's a little bit far for me. And I'm going to turn that foot just a tad. So back to the triangle, second time around. Little sassy hip. And there you go. The second time around, maybe you go a little deeper. Right foot pressing in the mat. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe into the belly, breathe out. And then as you inhale, you come back up. And as you exhale, you flow. If you want to skip that flow, you just step up. We'll catch up to you in a moment. If you're in the flow, you're coming down. When you inhale, you reach, sweep up. And when you exhale, you come back. Take a moment. I'm going to come to the left side. I'm going to rotate around. I think I'll be the right direction this time. So I'm going to inhale my left leg up high in the sky. I'm going to exhale it up through my hands. Come up, start with a moment or two in your lunge, get your balance. Try to straighten that right leg out, that back leg. Reach those arms back, all right? That's your thunderbolt pose. Open that heart up. And when you're ready to come to the crescent, try not to lift up the hips too much. Breathe in and lift up those arms. Shoulder blades can be down a bit. Shoulders down, I guess. Shoulder blades very active. Nice open shoulders there. Breathing in. Breathing out. Remember that right knee can bend. You can even bring it to the ground. Now I'm going to open up to that warrior two. So I open up the hips and the shoulders. That back foot open all the way up. Back foot's parallel now. Front foot's perpendicular. Heart's a little bit open. And then I'm going to turn my head. And I'm going to just gaze over one fingertip on that lead hand, that left hand. Strong left leg. Don't forget to engage that, pressing down a bit with your foot. And then breathe in through your belly. Breathe out. You breathe into the belly. You breathe out. And then we get that leg, that quad gets to rest a moment. I straighten it. I'm going to bring my back leg in a bit for my triangle here. Second time around the triangle. Let the hips slide back, reach. And then when you're ready, you pivot. And beautiful breaths now. Front lead leg. Try to get that whole foot trying to lift the toes up, really pressing it down. You feel a nice stretch to the top of your ankle there. And then breathe into the belly. And breathe out. You breathe into the belly. We breathe out. And as we breathe in, we come back up. And as you breathe out, you just windmill it down. You step it back. You skip if you'd like to. You skip a chaturanga. You can go straight to your down dog. Or you come that way, the long way around. Take a breath. I'm going to flip back around so I'll be the right way. Let's come back to the right side now, all right? I'm going to try to get my left heel to stay in the ground. Inhale, right leg up, high. Open up the hip a bit as you like. And then when you exhale, bring that leg all the way up. Start back with that crescent. Breathe in. Beautiful. And as you exhale, open up. Back to that warrior two. Now this time, reverse your warrior. So breathe in. I'm going to reach up and open up a little bit to that right side. I'm just going to reach straight up for me. It's called reverse warrior because over time, some people can start to reach back. It's too much. When I start to reach back, you'll feel like me. You start to feel it crunching the left side of the body. Doesn't feel good. I want to open to the right side. You can do that just by reaching up. And then breathe right out to that right side. Don't overdo it. Breathe into the belly, to those right ribs. Breathe out. Right leg is strong. Breathe in. Breathe out. Oh, beautiful. And as you breathe in, I'm going to come back to that warrior two. And this time, yogis, I'm going to do all the way down to a lunge with a twist. So I've got my left heel off the ground in my lunge. And see if you can find a twist right there. My left hand's on the ground. I'm keeping my belly engaged, protect my back, reaching up. And then I'm going to release that twist. Hand down, step back, and then you flow. If you want to skip the chaturangas and the up dogs, you can, and go right into the down dog. Take a breath. And then we do our left side. And I switch this around. So see if you can get your right heel down on the ground. Inhale your left leg up high. And as you exhale, bring that foot up. We start with a crescent. You breathe in, so my heel's off the ground. And then as you exhale, you open up your warrior two. Now that reverse warrior. So strong front leg, lead leg. Breathe in, reach up. Remember, you can just reach straight up. Now strong front leg, pressing down, quads engaged, glutes engaged. And then breathe into that belly, right to the left ribs. Breathe out. We breathe in. We breathe out. Beautiful. And then as you inhale, I'm going to do a little windmill all the way down to that low lunge. So I come up on my heel and then I twist. Firefly twist, keeping the belly engaged. Try to keep some of the load into your left leg. Try not to shift all of it to your right shoulder. And breathe in and breathe out. And I'm going to release the hand down, step it back, and you can skip that last chaturanga if you like. And meet in down dog. Take a few breaths here. Walk it out a bit. And now from here, let's look up to the hands and let's hop or step up. Easy. Why not? And take a moment and hang. Give that spine a little length. Hopefully the hamstrings are feeling nice and awake. And let's reverse our way back up. So we'll inhale, half flat back. And we'll exhale, forward fold. And we'll inhale, slowly rise up. And when you exhale, just let your hands come down to your heart. Take a moment. Let the arms come right out to the side. And let's finish our poses here, yogis, with a little balance at the end. A tree pose. Why not a tree pose, yogis? So for our tree pose, I'm going to start with my right side. And if you want to get near the wall, you can do that. If you need a little prop for your balance. Hopefully by now, the nervous system is awake and the balance is more ready than ever. So you can be gentle and have the foot right down here on the calf or the shin or higher. Up you go. Some of you go to half lotus. That doesn't quite feel right for me. My knee and my hip, and they got way up like that. So I'm part way. I've got my foot right in my inner thigh. I'm engaging my left thigh just a bit. Just provide a little pressure. And the hands can start right at the heart. And what you want to do is you want to focus on one point. I'm just focusing right on the mirror there and the camera. And then you can bring your arms out if you want to, go into a bit of a tree. And just very focused gaze, concentrating at one point, but keeping the rest of the body relaxed. Let the shoulders stay relaxed. And if you want to challenge your balance, maybe you try to look up. And then let's come back down to the center. Let's release that side. Take a moment to. We'll come to this left side. So you start how you like, inside. Calf, cross the shin, high up. If you're going to come up though, just help it. You don't want to end up right on the inside of your knee. Don't be pressing the knee. So I'm going to come right above it. Some of you all right in your half lotus. Some of us near a wall for a little support. And then just take a few moments and try to settle. I don't want that right foot to get fatigued or the ankle. I want to try to keep it relaxed, but firmly grounded, I guess you'd say. And then the hands can come together. They can stay right here if you want to, branch out. Find your point. Focus. There's your lesson of the day. If your day is beginning, focus on one thing at a time, all day long. If your days are going a little slower than you're used to, like so many of us, getting a chance to practice doing one thing at a time and not feeling like, well, I got all this other stuff I have to do. So just focus on that one point and stay relaxed in the body. Don't let tension creep in. And maybe at this time, if you want to play a little bit with your balance, You could close your eyes. And then when you're ready, you come back. A lot of focus to keep the balance, yogis. From here, take a moment. Hopefully, you're feeling more open. There's your goal for the day. Stay open, yogis. Stay open, stay moving, stay breathing, stay healthy, happy, and strong. Those immortal words, if you know Wim Hof, he's quite a character. That's his motto. Happy, healthy, and strong is a beautiful motto. Thank you all for joining this morning. Maybe end, if you like, with your Shavasana. Maybe end in your simple cross-legged meditative position. Or maybe end by walking out and into the world. Have a wonderful, wonderful day or wonderful evening, whatever time it is. And namaste. And hopefully you all enjoyed it.